Merry Christmas, and welcome back to more Hellblade. At least it's Christmas Day as I'm recording this. This will probably be the first video of 2021, so Happy New Year. Last time we completed 4 trials, and now it's time to claim our prize.
Dillion gave her the strength to pass the warrior trials, and she saw a way out. To leave her past behind and become a warrior in Dillion's clan.
Go back. It's not safe.
The sword is tainted by the gods of darkness. Leave it.
No. He left it here. He wants me to take it.
You will pay a price for this.
But years later, with Zinbal's parting words still haunting her, the darkness came back with a vengeance. A plague.
Dillion?
Everyone suffered.
My father was not supposed to die like this.
Dillion?
Do you see it clearly now, Senua? The suffering you've caused.
This is your fault. You brought this plague to us. You have blood on your hands.
They're coming for you now.
They're coming.
They're coming to get
Hold
you.
your heavy strike. Hold it. Hold the heavy strike. Hold it. Hold your heavy strike. Unleash the sword.
Just remember,
Coming.
they're coming to get you.
As you can see, we have our new sword. They're talking about a move that I don't think I ever do. Where I guess you hold down on the heavy attack to charge it up. I tend to just go with heavy attacks with the sword.
There's nowhere to run to.
In the sea of corpses, the corpse waved through itself over the ones I loved. The ship broke up under them. The ship that had sailed from the land of shining fields. Their memorial stone is sacred. Come not here in the sun. Come not with a sword. Come not crying over a naked corpse. Come not with disturbed mind.
This area actually looks really cool. From an artistic point of view, this area is pretty badass, but from a game design perspective, it's got some problems.
Is there any...
I'm going to get very turned around in this area. It's pretty easy to get turned around when you enter into these battle sequences to kind of lose track of which way you're going. Because it all looks the same. It looks really cool, but it all looks the same.
You hear the suffering, Senua. Does your precious gift of sight let you see the souls that rot here in this sea of corpses? Do you feel the blood running cold on your skin? Do you hear their endless cries? Do you smell their putrid wounds? They were once brothers, sisters, and loved ones. And look at what you have done to them. All because you were a coward, because you ran from your curse instead of facing it. When you turned your back on your father, Zinbel, you turned your back on the gods, and let the darkness wreak havoc on your people. Why must they pay for your heresy?
I guess some people just have a lot of guilt, even when things aren't their fault. And they have to take punishment like this. Sometimes externally, sometimes internally. And with this game, you never really know which is which. I hate that that enemy was so far away. Don't want to waste my focus. Damn. What did I just say? I did not want to waste my focus. We're pretty much going to face every type of enemy we have to deal with in the game in this chapter, except for the bosses, of course. we'll see a variant of each of them next video.
Now. You're stronger than him. Focus.
As well as a new type of enemy
Focus.
that you can fight at first, and then you have to focus in order to do damage to it. I think they could have solved the problem of the player getting turned around, and I know I get as lost as I do in here partially due to my bad eyesight. Damn, she's taking a beating.
You can do
A
this.
beating of her own making, I guess. Even though she actually didn't do anything wrong when you look at the story, but that's something altogether different. Get up.
She's hurt. She's injured. She won't be.
I think they could have solved the problem with getting the player turned around if they had just had a bit of a color change the further along you go in this area. So if you go the wrong way, you'll notice the color turning back to the color that it was at the start of the level.
Who is it? Galena. Where are you?
Do you hear, Senua? Do you hear the voice of your mother, Galena? She calls for you, Senua. Go to her. Answer her pitiful call.
And you're going to see a bunch of jump cuts in this area because I do get very lost in here.
Took her life.
Because everything in here looks pretty much the same.
It's taking. Mother! I need you! Help me!
And that's our goal, to get to that thing now.
You're both dead. You both surrendered to the
Even your
voices.
dear beloved mother was powerless against the darkness when it came for her. She too had a sight. She too doubted the gods and let the darkness infest her. But she didn't run. She escaped the only way she knew how. She gave her life to the gods. If only you had done the same, the world would have been spared this horror. It's not too late. She's calling for you. Why don't you join her?
This fight took me a couple of tries. Still not as bad as one fight that I talked about in episode 3. I believe this is the area where we're introduced to those enemies I was talking about, that after a certain point they kind of phase shift and you have to focus in order to bring them back so that you can actually damage them. There are a lot of enemies to fight in this area. But what I was going to say is that I feel like if they started the area out and the lighting was pretty bright, and the further along you go, the darker the area gets, or the area starts off darker and gets brighter the further along you go. I think something like that would have been better. Just to make it easier to not get turned around. Or even start it off with, like, say, like a yellow tint to the color palette, and then have it progressively go more orange and then red. Something along those lines. Just some sort of a color change to help identify which way you're going. Would have been nice. Such dramatic music. It's actually not bad. Pretty fitting for this area. Especially when you're using focus.
Watch out! Sights, watch out!
He's stronger than you.
There we go. I much prefer those perfect guards. I think that's a Devil May Cry term. I don't know what they call them in this game. Damn it. Look. I've already taken out a number of your buddies. Just take the L and go down, asshole. That's how this is gonna happen.
Too many of them. Find a strong position.
Just accept it. You're done for. You do have to be careful because they can still hit you even when they're slowed down. I have ran into more than my fair share of enemy attacks while using focus. And more baddies. I'm not sure if this is the last set or if there are more for this level. There's definitely more in the video, but we're going to get 2 levels in this video. Come on. Go down. And they just keep coming. This feels like end level shit. Like the build up to the final boss, and we are going to get something like that as we build up towards, honestly, kind of a disappointing final boss. But that's a problem for next video.
Why do you still fight on? Maybe you too should suffer with your brethren in this rot and let your blood seep into the seas and the rivers of hell. Isn't that what you deserve after all you've done? Give the darkness what it wants, let it swallow your soul and destroy all that you are. Why are you fighting for someone who is already dead? Just look around.
Because we wouldn't have a game otherwise.
If his soul could be rescued, do you think he'd thank you for what you have done to him, to his friends, to his father?
It's pretty interesting seeing Sanoa's perception of her father personified in her mind. And somewhere around here we're going to get a massive jump cut. I believe we've already had 1 or 2. I have mentioned I get really lost in this area. It all looks basically the same. I know I said this before, it does look really cool. I like the bodies, how they're moving and everything. But it still looks the same.
You're both dead. You both surrendered to the voices. The darkness has taken you. Galena and Senwa. Galena and Senwa.
You are lost. There's nothing you can do. You're dead. You're both dead. Mother and daughter dead in a sea of corpses. Voices took her and they'll take you too. The voices have taken her. The voices will take her.
Yeah, some creepy stuff. I have some trouble navigating this area, but it's not too bad. This is what you get when you get a playthrough by a blind man. Sometimes you have shit like this that I just can't edit out. It is kind of annoying because this game only has 1 save file, so you can't create multiple save files. So I couldn't replay some of the stuff to get a better run through, which would have been really nice for the playthrough.
I can't fight it anymore. Not on my own. Where are you, Mother? I want to be with you.
That night, she gave up on her world to follow in the footsteps of her mother, to go to a place where the darkness couldn't reach her.
Senua. Look at me.
Do you hear them? They're calling for me.
We've lost so many. And I've lost my father. I can't lose you.
You said it. I have blood on my hands.
I didn't say that. You've done nothing wrong.
Simba was right. Everyone will suffer.
Zimbel is a fake. He is a hateful, bitter liar. He's poison. And his words still haunt you. Who do you trust? Him? Or me? Do you still believe in me, Senua? In us? Come back to me. Please. Don't let this darkness come between us.
The hardest battles are fought in the mind. He gave her the sword with which to fight in more ways than one. And she gave him her word, never to surrender. All she needed was a little help. A little hope.
In the end, isn't that all what we need is just a little hope and a little help? Especially in 2020? So, if I had to pick my least favorite sections of this game, that last trial that we did last video would be my pick, simply because of that one section where we had to run from the fire monster. Because that was such a difficult part of the game that had me questioning if I was going to complete this game or not. That's easily the worst part of the game. And here the voices are just talking about how they're back, how they went away for a little bit, but they're back, even though they were there last chapter. So I'm not sure why they're doing that. Anyways, as a whole, that chapter wasn't necessarily bad. It was just that one part. But that one part dragged that whole chapter down. Because to me, it kind of ruined the game. I would never play it again because of that one part. However, if I were to pick a chapter as a whole, that's my least favorite. That would be the chapter that we're in now. It's not difficult or anything, it's just tedious and kind of annoying. And some of the background ambience, which is pretty cool at first, just lasts a little bit too long. This chapter isn't necessarily bad, and it does have some interesting stuff, including the boss fight that was the toughest for me in the game. So there are some cool things about this chapter, but it just lasts too long and gets a bit tiring. And again, we're going to have some jump cuts later on. We're going to be running around in essentially some caves or a tomb looking thing, so everything's going to be really dark.
Go up into the mountain.
So there are going to be some jump cuts as I get turned around in some of those corridors, where I'm just not even going to show how I get from one point to another, because I don't even know how to pull that off in a way that's going to look decent on video. I get so lost.
You can do it. You can see it. Come on, Senua.
See, you're a lot better voices when you're encouraging me. When you're being dicks, then that's when you can fuck right off. And I feel like Senua would agree with me on that one too. So in this chapter, we're going to have to stay in the light. Darkness is our enemy here. But we'll worry about that in a moment. First, let's get another lore stone.
I will tell you of a great hero named Sigurd, son of Sigmund, no less. Born after his father's death, Sigurd is cared for by the dwarf Rain. But Rain does not love the boy. Instead, he plans to use him for his own ends. You see, Rain's father possessed a great treasure given to him by the gods. But Rain's brother, Fafnir, killed his father and took the gold all for himself. Fafnir hid the treasure out on a heath and could not leave it. And from the evil in his heart, he turned into a dark creature. A dragon.
Which will be the subject of the story that these lore stones will tell throughout this chapter. This story's a little bit better, so I do look forward to getting those. I'm pretty sure I get all of the lore stones in the game. So unless I missed one because of a death that I didn't rescan, this should be an all lore stone playthrough. I don't know that for sure, though.
What's in there?
A great beast guards Helheim. Garm is its name, and it knows you are here, Senua. It can smell your stink.
If you spend too much time in the dark, you'll basically go crazy and die. That's the trick with this chapter.
To step into the shadow.
They can't stop me.
Then do it.
It only gets annoying every now and again for a couple of small parts of this chapter. For the most part, it's not too bad.
You from the shadows. Your sword is useless here.
I don't know about useless. Certainly won't do anything against this mindfuck going on right now.
Don't be fooled. The beast is still here. No. It's a trick.
Mother, do you hear that?
Don't fall for it.
It's me, Senua. So loud.
It's not her.
So full of hate.
It's a trap.
Just want to help them. Tell me what to do. Your father wants them to go away. And he only hurts me to silence them. But he's gone now.
But they always come back. He says I will die if I go with them. They say that I'm already dead.
No,
They want me with them.
stop.
That's why they crawl through the walls.
Don't listen
Do you
to them.
see them?
Do you see their faces? He's coming. Senua, help me. Help, get me out of here. Don't go.
Where has she gone? She's disappeared again. She shouldn't be here. She escaped the darkness. She took her own life to escape it.
Well, we can't really focus on that right now. What I'm going to talk about is an annoying aspect of this game. So
She can't remember when it started.
you have to scan that
When
symbol.
her mother lost her smile. Her eyes gazing past her towards a world she could not see. This is what happens if you reach for the underworld.
If you do not scan that symbol, then you cannot progress and you will have to reload the checkpoint.
And the first time she felt the cold chill of fear.
And it's
I
really
don't talk
annoying.
much
They should
about
have put
her
a
father.
checkpoint right
So
about
now-
here.
I suppose I just didn't want to risk upsetting her. But it doesn't matter now, does it?
So I go through everything that we're about to go through, but for whatever reason, I didn't scan that symbol.
The light's gone out.
So we have to go under this thing and now rush towards the light.
Get through it as quick as you can.
There's no other way to progress. There's no way to go back. So if you don't scan that symbol, you're screwed.
Okay, run. Run. You can get to the light.
Fortunately, there is a checkpoint over there somewhere, but it would have been nice if they had checkpointed you before you go under the water and lose your torch. That way you could still walk back to get the symbol. I realize it's my fault I missed the symbol, but I don't like separating the player like that to where you can't go back and get it again. I think that was really poorly designed. Probably the most poorly designed thing in the game. It's not game breaking, but it felt like it could have been. And that would have really sucked to have an entire playthrough ruined because of missing one symbol and bad design by the game developers not allowing you to go back for it. Fortunately, that didn't happen, but I feel like that could have been designed a lot better. I'm not really a fan of that. And you'll get a lot of the ambience that I got sick of while playing and editing this coming up. Again, it's not bad, it's just this chapter's going to last forever. I think it felt longer for me when I was editing than anything else, because it took me forever to edit this. But it also took me forever to play this. I think this was about 3 hours worth of video. So as long as this video is, and this is the longest video of the playthrough, it could have been a lot worse. So now we got to go for another lore stone, and it's going to take me a little bit to find it. But a lot of this chapter is just going to be us walking around in the dark.
The dragon Fafnir is so large and deadly that it would be impossible to kill him face to face. But each day, Fafnir crawls across the heath to find water. So Sigurd digs a pit in the dragon's path and lies in wait in it. When Fafnir slithers overhead, Sigurd sinks his sword into the dragon up to the hilt. Sigurd leaps from the pit, and Fafnir sees his killer. He warns Sigurd that the treasure will lead to his death, as it led to the death of all who owned it. Sigurd replies that death comes to all men, and every man would want to be wealthy until that day. And he takes the treasure.
I have a feeling Sigurd met an untimely end. That's usually how these stories go. But we'll find out as this video goes on. So we haven't quite hit that point where this chapter gets a little bit too long yet, but we're getting there. And now we can actually go back. I don't know why we couldn't go back before, because when I missed that symbol, it would have been nice to be able to go back to rescan it, and I couldn't find a way to get back. Now, if there is a way to get back and I just didn't see that, then my bad on my commentary.
Rain the dwarf's sole desire is to possess this dragon's accursed treasure, and he uses Sigurd to reclaim it. He tells Sigurd the story of Fafnir's gold, and the good-hearted hero promises to slay the dragon if Rain would forge a strong sword for him. Sigurd remembers that his father once possessed a sword given to him by Odin. Odin broke the sword to bring about Sigmund's death, but Sigurd's mother still has the pieces. And so Rain reforges the famous sword. Sigurd uses the sword first to avenge his father, and then he and Rain go in search of Fafnir.
So I guess I got those lore stones out of order, but oh well, that just catches us up with the previous one. This is where this chapter starts to get old and go a little bit too long. This is pretty much all we're doing the rest of the chapter, for the most part, is walking around corridors. And yes, every time I go up or down one of these staircases, it's going to be at this weird-ass angle. I don't know why. I assume my blindness or the game design. I'm not sure. Probably a little bit of both. I had to do what I had to do to be able to see to navigate this area, which was not easy. There are going to be points in this area, like I mentioned, where I'm going to cut me walking around in these areas. There are a few of these things that you missed because I cut them because it didn't really serve the purpose of the video. We'll go through there in a moment. I believe we have another symbol to get. Sometimes I think you have to light some of these torches in order to get some of these symbols. I'm not sure. I just do it anyways in case something happens, there's more light to navigate. which will help out later.
She did it. She's done it. Well done.
This place. The isolating, suffocating darkness that she lived through as a young girl. Imprisoned in her room at night. The faces in the dark, coming through the walls. She once thought everyone could see them. I mean, that's what children say all the time, isn't it? That there are monsters in the dark. By the time she realized that only she could see them, her father was in bed.
Alright, well, apologies for cutting that off, but this is the area I got incredibly lost, so hence why there's all the editing here. All you missed was me navigating some corridors badly. Not really worth anybody's time. I got really irritated, especially editing this. Well, at least we get some combat to break up the wandering around a little bit, so that's something. But as a whole, like I was saying before, this chapter, I just don't really care for it. I feel like we've already been in these catacombs for a little bit, and we're going to be in it for a little bit longer yet. It just lasts way too long. I know I walk around this area kind of slowly, but I don't feel like that adds much more than maybe 5 minutes to the chapter. So even if you were to walk around this area a lot faster, I feel like this area is still way too long. Yeah, we definitely need to pick up that torch. That causes me some trouble at some point later. I guess she has to drop the torch in order to fight the enemies, but still, that's kind of annoying.
What's she doing? She's lighting the torch.
So the darkness aspect of this chapter I do kind of like. It is a little bit different. It does add some tension, especially during sequences where you have to actually run around in darkness. So I just light a bunch of these on fire. Some of these will get lit off screen in some areas. There are so many of these staircases. Either that or I just keep walking by the same one over and over again. But I swear to Christ that I come across multiples of these staircases, and it's just hard for me to navigate because they all look the same.
There it is. You have all the rooms.
Hooray! So we can progress.
The beast is crawling into your mind, searching for weakness. It found your mother and used her to trap you in here.
Well, that beast
Did
is
you
out of
see
luck.
her die? I don't remember. I was only 5. They told me she escaped the darkness, that she's with the gods. But what if they lied? What if the darkness took her and trapped her here?
Well, then he's going to be disappointed because we are going to succeed.
She can get her mother out. Our mother doesn't.
Open Sesanoa!
It's a trap. The beast is coming. How stupid can you be?
That's pretty much it. Yep, just run. Not sure why our torch went out, but that's fine. Fortunately, we don't get any of that trippy mindfuck stuff, which is nice. I'm not sure why.
No!
What have you done?
No! No!
You've lost it. It's over.
The darkness is back. You lost him. You've lost him. Get to the light!
Without his head, you will never bring his soul back. His fate is sealed. Now it can see you at your weakest. The time you suffered as a child at the hands of your father Zindo while you pined for Dillian. Do you remember that darkness, Senua? The beast is bringing get it back.
Mother, why did you leave me? This darkness, it's spreading. Father's keeping me away from the others. Away from Dillian. I won't give up. I'm not going to rot in here. I'm going to find Dillian.
Well, it could be worse. It could be Chris Redfield in Code Veronica who dropped a bag full of a bunch of good guns, I assume. Pretty much all of his equipment. Although I guess we did drop the only reason that we're going through this section. Yeah, even just watching this video back, I'm reminded more of the torturous process it was to edit all this than actually playing this section.
Keep going. Save my life. Keep going. Where is she going?
The beast is down there.
No. She knows the beast is there.
Well, you see what I mean here. Now we're back in more dark corridors.
You're never safe from it.
It kind of feels like we should have already been done with this chapter, or at least at the boss.
Where is he? She's gone.
Sorry, I don't want to keep bitching about this chapter. It does last a while. But I do have a tendency to repeat myself. I believe part of that is because I just forget what I've said and what I haven't said. Right, this section. We're going to have some things to do over there in a bit. But first, we've got more combat to do. I said we have more combat to do. You will not have this day! And I will not go gently into that good night! Oh God. So as you can see, these things become some sort of a mist. I'm just trying to bide time for my focus to come back so I can kill them. Damn it, I hate being that far away from them when I enter focus state. I hate when they combo you. That gets annoying. I understand why they can do it, it's just annoying. Fuck you. Oh God. And I also don't like that I'm trying to focus on one enemy and then there are a lot more coming. Again, I understand why it's a thing, it's just annoying. That I don't have time to put an enemy down when it's on the ground. But I mentioned before that there's a charge attack you can do. I never do it in the game. There's really no time to do it. These enemies are on you pretty quickly. Yeah, we need to pick up that torch. I did scan the symbol first, which is really not what I should have done. We really should be grabbing this torch. I guess fortunately we were in enough light. But I really should have focused on picking up the torch first. And for whatever reason, I didn't think to do that. Oh well. Back to wandering around these caves with the same soundtrack that we've been hearing for a while now. Which includes my bitching about everything. I believe we are looking for a symbol. Don't worry, we got this. So, I know this video is going to be posted somewhere around the start of the year. So I hope you had a happy New Year, and I hope you had a good Christmas, or whatever holiday you celebrate. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, not only are you a heathen... Oh, wait, what? What? No, I didn't just do that. What? But whatever you do celebrate, I hope you enjoy whatever it was you celebrated. And if you celebrate nothing, then celebrate the day. Find a way to have yourself a good day. Oh, God. Run, Sanoa, run! We can't go cray-cray.
But she wouldn't listen.
He was doing his best.
There's one part of those that's going to be really annoying, and it took me a few tries to get through.
He was trying to save her from the darkness. Zinbel was right. Zinbel was trying to save her from the darkness.
No, I don't think he was trying to save her from the darkness. He was kind of a git. Although I can kind of understand, it's got to be tough. Especially if you live in a judgmental society, to have a kid with a mental disorder, I can't even imagine what that must be like.
Why doesn't she learn? When will she learn? She doesn't understand.
Although Sigurd kills the dragon, Rain wants to keep Fafnir's gold all for himself. Rain also wants the strength and wisdom of the dragon, so he drinks its blood and asks Sigurd to roast Fafnir's heart for him. Sigurd does so, but when he touches the roasted heart to see if it is done, he burns his finger. Without thinking, he licks his finger and tastes the dragon's blood. In that moment, he understands the language of birds and hears them talk nearby.
I'm guessing those birds revealed what that dwarf's plan was. But we'll find out coming up. I'm really invested in most of these lore stones. Some of them at the end of the last video were getting a little bit uninteresting, but there are a lot of good stories here. I'm sure a lot of this is just stories from Norse mythology, but still, they're interesting. I like it.
Sigurd's newfound power lets him hear the birds speak, and they say, Sigurd should eat the heart himself. Rain wants Fafnir's gold. Sigurd should kill Rain before Rain kills him. Sigurd should find Brynhild the Valkyrie, who sleeps an enchanted sleep. Sigurd heeds the bird's advice. He kills Rain, eats Fafnir's roasted heart, and takes Fafnir's treasure. And he embarks on a new quest. To ride to Hinderfell and find Brynhild, the Valkyrie.
I'm not sure why he would want to eat a dragon heart. I would not want that kind of supernatural power, whatever that might mean. So the annoying thing is if you die at what we're about to do, then you have to rescan that symbol. You also have to relight this thing that at this point I think I already lit. But that got cut. There's another one we're going to have to go get. You also, I think, have to rescan that lore stone, if I'm not mistaken. Which is why I said I hope I got them all, because I did die here several times with what we're about to do. I think I rescanned it, though. I think I said this already, so apologies if I repeat myself, but I think this annoyed me more during editing than while playing it, because while playing it, I'm focused more on what do I need to do. But when I was editing, all I was doing was hearing this background ambience, which isn't bad, but it gets annoying when you're listening to roughly 2 to 2.5 hours of it. So now that that's done, now we get to run through that waterfall. And that's what... Okay, so I did get that lore stone, and that's why we're going to be hearing parts of that. Some of this will be muted just because of that, since we've already heard this. So, my problem was I didn't see this path I could take right here. So I don't think it's actually tough. I think it's just something that my blind ass missed. And that's why this is muted here, because all we'd be doing is hearing a repeat of that lore stone. And that's why we lit this brazier here, so that we could walk over there and back. I'm still not sure why we actually made this trek. I guess we'll find out. Maybe. I assume it's to get another symbol. But I'm not sure. You would think playing and editing this, I would remember. Well, then we'll just find out together. But yeah, my Christmas was pretty decent. My parents came by and we had a really good meal. Prime rib, scalloped potatoes, and green bean casserole with some croissant rolls. Pie and Christmas cookies. Good times. Maybe we had to light all of these so that we could get that symbol. Maybe that's what we were doing. Okay. And again, at this point, I had to rescan the symbol in order to find it. Because I didn't have that symbol on the door at this point in time because I had died so many times. So overall, it was pretty good. I got an authentic MLB bat, Louisville Slugger, with the Houston Astros colors on it and logo. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge fan of that team.
Dillian. She can't help but think of him. The tender guiding flame in a world so black. The longer it burned, the more she convinced herself that there was nothing beyond its reach. How little separates us from what we fear.
Sigurd learns that Brynhild had once disobeyed Odin, and so he had her punished, stuck her with a sleep thorn, and put her body within a rampart of burning shields. Only a man who knew no fear would ever reach her. But like me, Sigurd is fearless, and passes through the flames, just as I did, and wakes the sleeping warrior girl. She teaches him the secret wisdom of runes, namely victory runes, ship runes, runes for persuasion, runes for truth, runes for healing and help, runes for perception and power. Like Sigurd, the greatest young warrior of the North, you must learn the secrets of the runes to fight amongst the gods in hell.
Well, we've been dealing with a lot of these runes already, and I still couldn't tell you what any of them mean. So whatever you did on the 25th of December, I hope you had a good day. I hope you had a good New Year. I have no idea what my New Year's was like because it hasn't happened for me yet. I can take a guess as to how it went, though. I'll probably get drunk and probably not go anywhere. That's my guess. And the answer to that question will not be on this LP. I plan to do commentary for next video after I get done with this one, so who knows? I'm sure I'll talk about it in whatever LP I do next. Hey, this reminds me of Tomb Raider 2013. Tomb Raider 2013, anyone?
I hear you. I'm coming for you. I'm coming. Dillian, I see you. The beast has Dillian. No. You're not taking it from me.
I warn you, Senra. I can smell your
No.
You betrayed your god.
I am leaving with him.
You turned your back on me. That is why Dillian will rot in hell. Come into my shadow.
Well, I don't know about that, but This did take me a couple tries, but it's time to face this monster that's been giving us so much trouble this video. And give him what for, and make him pay for trying to drive us madder than we already are. Madder than the Maddest Hatter, or something along those lines. You know, I'm kind of disappointed in this sword. It doesn't seem like it really does a whole lot more than the previous one did. I guess it probably does a little more damage, maybe, but not enough to feel like it's really worth it. You would think we would have a good sword that would have us wasting through the low-level enemies in one hit. Take a seat! I was hoping to time saying seat with that sword hit. Unfortunately, no luck. Damn it, you giant pig. It's time for some bacon and chops and roast and ham. All kinds of good things come from pigs. But you are not one of them. Damn it, Sonoa, get over there and attack it. I think you might get health back whenever you focus, but I'm not sure. Either that or I assume it regens over time. So if you can avoid getting hit, then it probably regens. I don't know.
People think of evil as an unnatural, invisible force, and so invoke the gods for protection. But evil can come from the hand behind the gods. A familiar hand, cold and cruel. He tried to fix her with his rituals, kept her trapped in that hole. She couldn't say which was worse. The darkness, or the monster that her father had become. She couldn't fight them both. And so she left, headed for the one ray of light that shone down on her. If she had stayed, she wouldn't have survived. But maybe Dillian would still be alive.
I'm so sorry, my love.
She will save his soul. Even if this time she can't save her own.
Forgive me, Senua. I know you have no reason to trust me anymore.
Listen.
But believe this, it was my mission to make you hate, to hate the darkness with a passion so great it would focus your mind on this quest. Realize it. I doomed you to let those track. All this time I wanted to protect you from the truth that would have destroyed you a long time ago. But you have conquered your darkness at every turn. You deserve to see behind the veil of darkness.
Then take me to the mountain. To trust him. As deep as we can go.
I won't stand in your way.
She has to trust him.
You will not survive what is in there.
I know.
She did nothing. She doesn't want to turn back. She has nothing. She has nothing.
She's come this far. She wants to go forward.
She wants this. She wants to save Dillian's soul. She must listen to the shadow. Keep going, Senua. Keep going.
And that's all we're going to do this video. Thanks for watching, and next time we will complete this game.